only be used at a particular usage rate. That means that you cannot add the ingredients in at whatever percentage that you desire. For instance, sodium lactate. Hello everyone, I am Lakeisha, owner and creator of Body Butters Creations, and I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel. So in today's video, we are going to be learning Formulation 101. That is correct, Formulation 101. I kind of feel like there's not enough videos out there to teach people how to formulate skincare products properly. This is going to be key and essential and the blueprint to creating your brand. So today we're going to be using a batch calculator to formulate our ingredients from percentage to volume. So when you're making skincare ingredients, you want to have 3 types of phases. The last phase, which is phase C, usually doesn't apply, but you want to have a phase A, a phase B, and phase C. Phase A consists of your water-soluble ingredients. This is going to be your water, your glycerin, your propylene glycol, your D-panthenol, sodium lactate, any ingredient that consists of or is water soluble. But if there is a heating phase, you may have to add that in phase C. So phase B is going to be your oil-soluble ingredients. This is going to include your shea butters, your mango butters, your coconut oils, your castor oils, your waxes, your emulsifying waxes, your fatty alcohols, and your thickeners. That is going to be very important when you are trying to create ingredients. Phase A and phase B are more than likely going to combine together to create your formula. Again, phase C only applies if the ingredient needs to be added at a cool down phase. You also want to make sure that you are doing a thorough research on your ingredients, because most of the ingredients always has a usage rate. That means the ingredients can only be used at a particular usage rate. That means that you cannot add the ingredients in at whatever percentage that you desire. For instance, sodium lactate has a usage rate between 1 and 4. You can only use it between 1 and 4%. You can't add it in at 10% just because you like it. It may cause skin irritation to your customer. So today I'm going to take you on 3 scenarios where we are creating 3 different products for 3 different customers. You always want a who, a what, and a why. Who is my consumer? What am I making? And why am I making this product? So each customer has their own individual skin type. Everyone is going to have different skin types, tones, and different needs. So we're going to be formulating a hydration toner, a face oil, and of course a body butter cream. So I'm going to walk you through the steps on how to formulate these products. We're not actually going to be doing a physical formulation, but I'm going to show you how to plug in your numbers on the calculator. I mean, you could write all this information down if you wanted to and do the math in your head, but why would you want to? We are heading into 2024. We want to make our life as easy as possible. So I'm going to show you which formulation calculator that I use in order to formulate my skincare products, and I'm going to help you guys become the master formulator of your own brand. So let's go. I had to do an actual recording of my physical screen because I was doing the screen recording and my voice wasn't picking up. So I wanted to go ahead and record the Wholesale Supplies website so that you can see what their batch calculator looks like. So this is what the home screen of Wholesale Supplies looks like. And I'll scroll all the way down. You can sign up on their email, and then they even have some reviews and trends and their social media. This is where you can get kind of contact savings, helpful information. And scroll back up And so they have soap making supplies. They have a ton of different options. They have candle making supplies, your additives, your bases, your colors, your pigments, micas, fragrances and essential oils, molds and containers, packaging and kits. But for the purpose of this video, we are going to be navigating and using the batch calculator. So when you land on the home page, you want to go to resources. Resources is where you're going to be able to find this. And then it's going to be the first one, which is helpful calculators. And so they do have their calculators, their charts, their tools. And as you can see, they have their fixed oils and butter properties, fragrance calculators, lye calculators for soap making, different charts. And so for this one, we're going to be using the batch calculator. You're going to click on that, and then it's going to bring it up again so that you can confirm you're on the right one. And then right here, it's going to be highlighted. You're going to click on batch calculator again. So we're going to be going through the scenario of creating into our formulation calculator 3 different products for 3 different customers. So right here, it's going to tell you that this is the batch size calculator. It converts your percentages into weight. And so right here, they give you all the directions, but I'm going to actually tell you everything that it says right here. But when you're on the website, you are more than welcome to go back through this and thoroughly read it. I always tell people thoroughly read and thoroughly do your own research. So right here, it's going to give you the name of the recipe that we'll be creating, the total batch value, and you can do this in ounces, pounds, milliliters, or grams. I know the most popular one that people like to do is grams, but I love to calculate in ounces. So you want to make sure that you have the right amount that you want to, the right section that you want selected. So if you want ounces, make sure you have ounces. And if you want grams, make sure you have grams. And then right here, you're going to add each and individual ingredients to this section, and then you're going to put the percentage amount. So this batch has to equal to 100%, or else it will not calculate it at all for you. It won't even bring up the amounts if you do not have it at 100%. Your formulations, in order to be correct, they need to be formulated at 100%. If you want to make more than 8 ounces of oil, then just formulate it at 16 ounces of oil. So we are going to go through this scenario, and I want to take you through this scenario as far as what the first product we're going to be making. I do have my notes here because I wanted to make sure I am thoroughly reading you guys this scenario that I created for this particular customer. So the first product is going to be for Mary. So Mary has rough, dry scales with small cracks. She lacks sebum oil production in her skin. Her skin doesn't produce enough oil to moisturize it itself. So the product we want to create for Mary is going to be a non-comedogenic oil. And so the oils that I chose for this blend is going to be sugarcane squalane. Squalane has a 0 rating on the comedogenic list. The second one we're going to do is white lupine. I'm not exactly sure what the rating of white lupine is, but it is to be known to be a non-comedogenic oil. The reason why I chose white lupine is because it's a really great oil that mimics having collagen to an oil-based product. So I found out about white lupine when I was trying to make a product. I went and purchased this from someone on Etsy. I will also link the description of the white lupine if you want to know more about that too. But with white lupine, it mimics collagen blend of peptides. So it prevents the skin from breaking down of collagen and elastin. So if your skin lacks moisture, it causes the fat and the collagen to also dry up. So this is another thing that's going to be needed as far as a person using an oil for dry skin. So the next one after that, I chose Camilla seed because it has a comedogenic rating, a non-comedogenic rating of 1, which means it's very low and less likely to clog the pores. And then the last one I did was sunflower oil, which is 10%, and it has a non-comedogenic rating of 10. So I am going to show you guys, I went on this website, which is Beneficial Botanicals. So they can show you everything you need to know about the list as far as non-comedogenic. So 0 is not likely to clog pores. 1 is very low. 2 is moderately low. 3 is moderate. 4 is fairly high. 5, of course, is high. And so when creating products, especially face oils, you want to make sure you stay within the 0 to 2 range. 3 is pushing it. 4, definitely no. And 5, definitely no. They not only have the oil comedogenic rating, non-comedogenic rating on here. So you can see they have all the oils. Well, most of the oils, I won't say all, and some butters. And they also have alcohols and esters and ethers and sugars that you can go through. I'm going to scroll back up. They have the waxes, so you can know the rating of the waxes. Some botanicals, not all. Again, you will always have to go through and do your own thorough research even further. They have vitamins and herbs ratings, the antioxidants, your thickeners, your emulsifiers, detergents. These are going to be like your, of course, like your cetyl alcohols, emulsifying waxes, and detergents. They mean cleansing agents that you would be using. So that would be considering anything that you would put in a face wash, body wash. They also have the minerals as well. And then they also, did pull up another website too, which is Herbal Dynamics Beauty. They will also tell you an in-depth scale of the oils and butters, their ratings. So I would definitely suggest hitting up these 2 websites. I will also put the links there in the description too. I mean, they have a ton of information, as you can see. This is going to be very important when picking up or when creating like a skincare product. So we want to go back to this calculator because we want to go ahead and create this oil for Mary, who has rough, dry scales. You want your face oils, when you create them, to not sit on top of the skin, but to actually penetrate the skin. You don't want any oils to be sitting on top of the skin. Like an oil that would sit on top of the skin would be kind of like a coconut oil. I definitely would not recommend using coconut oil inside of any of your face products because it does have a comedogenic rating of 4. That's really high. So we are going to go ahead and formulate this face oil. So when you get on the calculator, this is where you would put your product name, and we're going to put face oil. And the batch size that we're going to do is 8. So again, I'm formulating in ounces. You can formulate in ounces or grams. It's your choice, or even pounds if you plan on making that much oil. I know some people like to make larger batches. I like to do mine in smaller batches. Not 8 ounces small, but this is just for an example of this video. So you want to always put your highest ingredient first, which is going to be the sugar cane squalane. So the sugar cane squalane, you're going to make sure that it's squalane and not squalene. There's a difference. Squalene is actually going to be high on the comedogenic rating. Squalane, which is derived from like olives or sugar cane, is going to be the one that you want to choose. And so that is going to be formulated at 60%. And the reason why I chose 60% because it has a 0 non-comedogenic rating. The next one is going to be white lupine. I love white lupine. It's really good. It mimics a collagen. It has tons of collagen inside the oil. It helps with collagen production. And so that's going to be at 20%. And then the next one is going to be the camellia seed oil. I'm just going to abbreviate this. So the camellia seed oil has a rating of 1. I'm going to use that at 10%. And then sunflower oil, I never really ever worked with or used sunflower oil. I know some people have allergies to certain oils, so I kind of stick with more common oils. So sunflower oil does have a 0 comedogenic rating. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to put 0. It has a 0 comedogenic rating, but we're going to use that at 10%. As you can see, before adding this in, I was at 90%. We're going to go over and click calculate. Once you click calculate, it is going to show you the amount of weight that you need to put on your, to create with your scale. So with the sugarcane squalene, you would use 4.80 ounces. The white lupine, 1.60 ounces. Camellia seed, 0.80 ounces. Sunflower, also 0.80 ounces, which will equal out to 8 ounces of oil. You can put any notes right here if you needed to probably say, of course, starting out with sugarcane squalene, then add, whatever you need to help you. And then you can also, if you don't like that, you can start over, or you can print. Once you go to print, it will print this out for you. It'll show the whole entire thing. I'll bring this up a lot larger for you to see. But yeah, this will print it out. It'll print out your face oil. I'm going to minimize that again. And so this is how you would use a batch calculator. I'm only using oils inside of this. I very sparingly like to use essential oils. So I don't have any essential oils inside of this. I know essential oils, fragrance oils can kind of be tricky when using it in face products. They are the #1 cause for skin irritation for some people. I won't say everyone, but some people. And so this is how you calculate a face oil. This is all you would do. You would put your ingredients in, you would put the amount you want to use, you would print it out, and then you would get all of your items together that you chose, and then you would just formulate them together. This would be considered a cold process. You don't need to heat these oils up at all. All you do is just mix them together and you have your face oil. Okay, you guys, so we just did the first recipe, the face oil. How easy was that? I mean, that was so super easy. I told you I wanted to take you through 3 different recipes on 3 different scenarios of 3 different particular customers. Okay, so the next scenario that we're going to have is going to be a person who has a lack of radiance in their skin. They have itchiness and tightness after washing their face. Their skin feels dull, and they also have scales too. This particular person has dehydrated skin. So this can go multiple ways. So you can either create a toner, or you can create a serum that's going to be water-based. For this particular recipe, I'm going to do a toner, only because I don't want to try to do the serum, explain that to you, because you do have to add thickeners in order to get this serum consistency so that it has a little bit of body to it. So we're going to be doing a rose water toner. Oh, sorry, 1 second. A rose water toner. We're going to also be doing 8 ounces. Again, if you wanted to have this to be a larger batch, just put the amount you want in. Like if you wanted more than 8 ounces of toner, you would do 16, 24, whatever amount you want to. I was just going up as far as doubling, because people think that when you're doubling the recipe that it would have to equal 200, but everything is still going to equal out to be 100. And so again, you would do the same thing with this. So in this recipe, I chose to do all water grabbing ingredients. This is going to include my distilled water, rose water, glycerin, propylene glycol, dipenthanol, hyaluronic acid, and then you also want to go ahead and add in your preservative too in the final formulation. And also the pH of the final formulation is going to be a 5. So I'm going to show you guys what you're going to do. Distilled water is going to be the highest ingredient. I want to put that in at 53%. And then for my rose water hydrosol, sorry guys, I wanted to not add all the ingredients at once because it goes through and it highlights everything that I already did before, and I don't want it to do that. I'm going to do that at 24%. And then glycerin. Glycerin, I'm going to add that in at 5%. The propylene glycol, I have to do this differently so it does not pull up everything because it'll show you everything all at once. And I'm just trying to show you guys the example. So we're at 82. The propylene glycol, the dipenthanol is going to be at 5%. And then we also want to go ahead and add the hyaluronic acid. I just put abbreviate with HA. That has to be added in at 1%. And then the preservative, we're going to add that in at 1% of the batch weight. And then see how we are at 94. And I just wanted to do this so I could show you the example. It will not calculate anything for you. You got to push OK. And so we're going to go ahead and add, see. Sorry guys, I hope my math, yep, my math is mathing today. So I went ahead and changed that up. And so now we're at 100%. You'll go ahead and see, again, you can use this note section and directions on if you wanted to do, say for instance, if you wanted to do the distilled water, rose water mixed together, and then you want to take the glycerin and dissolve the dipenthanol in, because usually dipenthanol comes in a powder form. But if you get everything in a liquid form, you can just go ahead and just kind of just pour it all in together, starting with the highest ingredient, just one by one. And you do want to make sure before adding the preservative to check the pH. None of these products have any type of acidicness to it, because I formulated with all of these. So the pH always usually falls between the natural pH of the face, which is between 4.5 and 5.5. But again, I suggest always double checking and checking the pH, because if we wanted to be at a final pH of say 5, then we could use a buffering like the sodium hydroxide to bring up the pH a little bit. But again, you always want to make sure if it's in the range of the safe range of the pH, then do not worry about adjusting the pH. This adjusting of a pH applies if it is like too high or if it's too low. And so right here, you can also, like I said, put in notes right there as far as anything you want to add, like adjusting the pH, checking the pH. Again, you would definitely go back over here and you would push print. It will show you your recipe over here. It'll show you it in ounces, pounds, milliliters, grams. And so we're going to go ahead and hit calculate. I didn't even realize this, but yes, you got to hit calculate. So you hit the calculation and it's going to go ahead and show you how many ounces. So you would need 4.72 ounces of distilled water, 1.92 ounces of rose water, 0.4 ounces, 40 ounces of glycerin, propylene glycol, dipenthanol, hyaluronic acid 0.08, and then your preservative 0.08. So I'm going to explain this part a little bit more. So water, you can add water in as little or as high as you want. Rose water, you want to keep this within, they say you can use hydrosols up to 100%. I still like to kind of be careful with hydrosols because I mean, just in case they could possibly cause some customer skin irritation, I'm unsure of that. So I still like to kind of dilute it just a little bit. And then with glycerin, glycerin has a usage rate between 1 and 5. So I went ahead and went with the higher percentages of glycerin. Propylene glycol is going to be the same. These have a bit more, like glycerin has a bit more tackierness to it. It does have a comedogenic rating of 0. So it's safe to use on the face. There has been websites that say you can use glycerin up to 20%. I kind of stay within 1 to 10 range, but for this toner, I went ahead and did 5 because I didn't want it to have any stickiness to it, but I did want it to add moisture to the skin. Propylene glycol is going to be similar to glycerin, but it isn't as sticky as glycerin. D-panthenol, they do have some liquid forms of D-panthenol. I always use the powder form. You can use that up to 5% in your batches. Hyaluronic acid is known to be used at a 1% rate. So I just went ahead. You don't have to go any higher with hyaluronic acid. I know it's a very popular skincare ingredient for anti-aging. That doesn't mean that you need more of it. So I would stick with the 1% range. Your preservatives, I wanted to go ahead and stick with this at a lower range because the batch isn't that high. So I did go ahead and do it at 1%. And there you have it. This is going to be the rose water toner recipe. And so we're going to go ahead and get to our final formulation. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how you would just start all over. Once you got done printing that and saving it, you would just start all over. It's going to go ahead and clear out the calculator for you. It's going to show you that you still need to be at 100%. So the next scenario that we have for our last and final clients. Now, this is definitely going to be my, my all too favorite. So I'm going to tell you the scenario. So we're going to name this person Sam. So Sam has very dry, rough skin, especially during the winter time. She has nice moisture in her face, but she tends to have dry spots on her body, such as her elbows, heels, and her knees. The type of product she needs is going to be a body butter cream, and specifically an oil-based body butter cream. So this is where we're going to go back to our phases. All of our phases inside of our ingredient list, the first two, you don't need an A and a B phase added to that because everything just went in all together. So there's nothing that needed to be added in so that it can be emulsified together. So for this one, it's going to be a body butter cream. With body butter creams, you usually want to tend to stay within a 70-30 range as far as like your butter to oil ratio. So for me, with this, we're going to do 8 ounces again. I don't know, you can do more. I'm just going by 8 ounces so I can show you guys. That's typically something when people start making smaller batches, they usually do about 8 ounces. When you're doing it any smaller than that, it's really hard to calculate. So the first butter that we're going to use in this blend is going to be mango butter. So we have mango butter being at 50%. We're going to go ahead and put 50% here. We're going to also add shea butter. I love shea butter. It's one of my favorite butters to use when I'm formulating skincare products. I very much hardly use mango butter. So for me to do this with mango butter being the highest is actually kind of funny because I use shea a lot. It's an easier butter to work with. It's softer. And mango butter is just as soft too, but again, I just love shea butter a lot. And so for the oil portion, we're going to have argan oil, and we're going to put argan oil in at 15%. And then the next one we're going to have is going to be jojoba. And for the jojoba oil is going to also be 15% as well. And then the last oil we're going to use, and I know this is going to sound crazy, is going to be castor oil. I had someone tell me that they've never thought about formulating a butter with castor oil, or making a body butter cream with castor oil. Sorry, my calculations off really quick. They never thought about formulating with castor oil. So I use castor oil inside of my butter blend. I love using castor oil. Castor oil is one of the most deepest penetrating plant oils. It will penetrate through the second layer of the skin, which is going to be the dermis layer. So it's highly moisturizing. It's not going to sit on top of your skin. I know that there are some oils that they say that soak in right away. You really have to do a lot of research on oils. I mean, it's just so much out there. I couldn't even explain it to you in this one video. But one of the oils I don't really care for to use in a higher blend is coconut oil. They say coconut oil absorbs into the skin really fast, but to me, I always felt like coconut oil has always been a very greasy oil. As I mentioned earlier before with the face oil, it has a rating of 4. I would never put that inside of a face oil. So I'm telling you right now, please do not put coconut oil inside of your face oils. Now that I got that out the way, we can get back to this. So I like to go ahead and show you guys. Oh, let me go ahead and do the calculation first so that you can see the amount. And so it's going to show you the amount of each thing. You're going to have mango butter at 4 ounces, shea butter at 120 ounces, argan oil 120, jojoba oil at 120, castor oil at 0.40 ounces. You can also put directions in here like melt shea butter first, then add oils. However you feel like formulating your recipe, it's up to you, but you can leave notes in this. Again, you can go over, it will print for you, it will show you everything so that you can have this next to you when you're doing your formulation. I always usually use this on my phone. So this is why my phone is filled up with so many screenshots of my recipe. So you can screenshot your recipe, you can crop it out, you can send it to your email so you can have it saved too. Or again, you can, if you have the time, you can print this out and put it inside of a book so you can have a formulation book. And so I want to go back to this butter though. The reason why I picked this blend is very important, even as much as anything you want to do. People feel like with body butters, you just get oils because the oils are good and just throw them together and you create a body butter cream. That's not how it works. Even with a body butter, I would still use a formulation calculator because this can help you be able to tailor your next batch in case this is not the right formulation for you. You can always go back and say, okay, well, maybe I don't want to have so much mango butter. I'll take some mango butter out and add some more oil. You can have that already saved. You can see how your batch came out, and then you can perfect your body butter. I like to go ahead and use this at a higher blend, these 2 butters, because again, they are softer butters. You do have other butters like cocoa butter, cocoa butter, a few others that are a bit more on the harder side. When you're formulating, I've never made a body butter with cocoa butter, so I can't for sure tell you how a body butter comes out. But with it being a harder butter, I would definitely work on the numbers with that. I wouldn't probably have that in my blend at such a higher blend, at a higher percentage. But the mango butter and shea butter is going to be moisturizing. The reason why I chose the argan oil in this blend for her is because argan oil is highly moisturizing. Jojoba oil mimics our natural skin. And then again, like I mentioned, castor oil, if you go and you research it, it is the highest penetrating plant oil. It's the most penetrating for the skin. And it has a low comedogenic rating of 1. I wouldn't preferably use it at a high blend on the face simply because castor oil has this mimic of a thicker gel consistency. I love to blend with castor oil a lot, and I will explain this in further videos on why I use castor oil in my lip care products. It is my #1 oil to use when making a lip oil. Again, I will elaborate on this a little bit more later. But for right now, this is going to be the blend for your body butter. So now that you guys have used this calculator, you got a chance to see me show you through this formulation calculator, how easy it is to formulate your batches. This is definitely going to be a game changer for you. If you have phases where there are items that need to be added at a cool down, I would definitely put that in the notes. I would definitely put, when you're doing a formulation that has phase A, phase B, and then phase C, put these down here in the notes. And then even, I'm just gonna go ahead and clear this out to show you guys. I'm gonna start all over, and then it always asks you if you for sure, in case you accidentally push the wrong button. Please read that, or else you'll have to go back through and put in all of your numbers again. So if you wanted to use this as a phase A, phase B type of thing, whenever I've done things with phases, say I have distilled water, I have rose water, and then I have like glycerin, and then I have like propylene glycol, I'll leave a space right here kind of showing what my phase A is. And then I will go in and put my oil phase in. Let me see, I'm just trying to make some stuff up. Now that I wanted to do this, it won't pull up anything. It won't pull up anything. So, and then I'm just going to throw in coconut oil in there. And so these would be, this is how I would separate my water phase and my oil phase. And then you can leave more space down here for your cool down phase, because honestly, I don't think anyone would really use this entire list to make one complete recipe altogether. You can have something that leaves spaces. I would say if you are making something more intricate, like a shampoo or a conditioner, yes, that requires usually a ton of different ingredients, but even then you should still have enough room. And so it'll still calculate you, even if you leave these spaces, it's still going to calculate for you. That way you kind of have some separation between your phase A, your phase B, your phase C, if there is a phase C. Phase C only matters if you have ingredients that can't be added at this heating phase, because the phase A and phase B is usually always a heating phase, particularly sometimes, but phase A and phase B can also be a cold process too. There's always ways to emulsify water and oil together without using a wax, an emulsifying wax. You have your polysorbates, you have your polysorbate 20 and 80. Those are also ingredients that you can use to kind of make water and oil combine together if you're doing something that's a cold process. So you guys, this is what the batch calculator look like. This is Wholesale Supplies website. I will take you back through the front so you can see their website. I don't particularly order from here, only because the skincare store that I purchase stuff from here, when I need things, they are supplied by this company locally. So I don't order from this website at all, so I can't tell you about anything on the website, but I can tell you about their products that I have purchased, and they actually have a ton more things on their website that I haven't seen in the store, so I can't tell you about everything. Again, they have their soap making supplies, candle, additives, bases, colors, fragrance, molds, containers, and packagings and kits. And if you need to look up an ingredient, I would definitely tell you guys, when looking up an ingredient, say for their additives, you want to know, I'm trying to see what might have something that needs pH adjusting. And this is what I'm trying to find for you guys. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to have to go on to making cosmetics. Oh, goodness. No, my caps was on. So making cosmetics, we're going to go through their website. I'm going to show you their website really quick. And so I don't really order from here a lot, but they have like your ingredients. So this is going to be for more advanced formulators when you come on here. So I've used the 72-hour moisture before. I've added it to one of my products. And so it'll tell you the usage rate. When you go to websites, the manufacturers always tell you their description, the benefits, how you use it. For this, it'll tell you for skin, 0.2%, shampoos, 0.5%. So that's a very low percentage. And you can only add this in a water phase when the water is 60 Celsius or 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Below that, I'm sorry, you can only add it at below this rate. So it can't be 140 degrees Fahrenheit and you add it, because then the ingredient is not going to work. So you do have to wait at the cool down phase. I will say it is very tricky to do this, especially if you're heating up your water soluble ingredients and you have things that are like powders that may not be dissolvable without heating. I do have to wait around for the water phase to cool down. I do have a thermometer where I check it to make sure that it is accurate. You always want to make sure you have those type of tools when going through and checking the heating phase and your formulations too. I will show you guys that at another video, but right now I want to stick to the Formulation 101. And so what else do they have? I want to find something that may have a pH to it, just so that you can see. I'm going to click on the hyaluronic acid. They have a few different hyaluronic acids. So it's right here, it shows you right here, it says it is typically used at 0.1 to 2%. That's why I said I just keep it at a 1. And most of the time, if you go through some of the websites, they can tell you what the pH is of the product when you get it and what the pH, final formulation of the pH should be. That's going to be very important when formulating your ingredients. So we're going to go back and talk about that face oil. The face hydration toner. Say for instance, if you wanted to somehow add a product and it was niacinamide. Niacinamide has brightening properties to it. It's really good for the skin. And say you wanted to add that to the toner. Before I mentioned we wanted that toner to be at a final pH of 5. You wouldn't be able to formulate niacinamide inside of that toner simply because niacinamide only works at a final pH of 6 or higher. So niacinamide would actually possibly cause some skin irritation if formulated at that low, because it's saying it is required to be formulated at 6 and above. So that's another important thing when formulating. You want to make sure that the final pH of each ingredient all match. If the manufacturer doesn't have that, you should always reach out to them via email or call them, just because this is very important. You don't want to put in different ingredients. You don't want to go through the trouble of putting in these ingredients and then you don't know what the final pH of the formulation is. So you can always try a lot of different websites. There was one website that I used to go on. I no longer can find it, but they always told what the pH of the product was, the final pH of it as well. And so let's see. I hope this information helped you guys. Again, I will leave links to like this Herbal Dynamics Beauty website and this one right here with the beneficial botanicals, as far as like the ratings of the oils or the ingredients. because when formulating your skincare ingredients, you want to make sure that you are following a guide that helps you create really good skincare products. So this is going to be the wholesale supply site. I will link the calculator in the description, the website in the description, so that you can get to the calculator. Again, you go to resources on the main page, go to helpful calculators. It's going to pull up and it'll show you all of the calculators they have. Navigate through batch calculator, and then you will go ahead and click on that again, and it will pull up batch calculator. If you didn't want to go through all that, you can put in your search terms formulation calculator. Wholesale supplies does usually be the first one that pops up. So that's another way to easily navigate to the calculator without going through all those steps. But I do kind of feel it's very important to kind of work your way and navigate through the website too. So I hope this video was very helpful. So now that I took you on the scenario of doing these 3 different formulations, I hope that you feel comfortable with playing around with how to formulate your own skincare products. I mean, the first thing you can do is actually go on the website and look up the ingredients that you desire to make your skincare product. I mean, it's always great to start off with a practice template just so you can get the feel of it. And then you can also go on the website to see what the usage rate is, the pH level, what temperature it has to be added in. That's going to be another important thing. You don't want to add anything at the heated phase when it should have been added at the cool down phase. Always do a thorough research on the ingredients that you're going to be using, because each ingredient has its own pH. It has a pH that it starts with, and then it has a final pH, a final formulation of the pH. So please make sure you always do your research, because at some point in your formulations, you are going to have to buffer them. You're going to have to either use citric acid to lower the pH, or sodium hydroxide to raise the pH. So I'll cover that issue in another video, because right now that's going to be a little bit too advanced. But I just wanted to let you guys know what you'll be needing to look out for as far as your formulations. So I hope that the formulation calculator gave you a really good idea on how to plug in your numbers. I mean, it is as simple as 1, 2, 3. All you're going to be doing is researching your ingredients and plugging them into the calculator. But remember, when you are formulating, you want to have a who, a what, and a why. Who is this product for? What am I making, and why am I making it? That is going to help you become a good formulator, so that you're not just making a bunch of skincare products just because you know how to. So I plan on making all of these ingredients that we just formulated in separate videos. So the first one that we are going to work on in the next video will be the hydration toner. I hope this video was very helpful to you. And again, I plan on making all the ingredients that we talked about today in today's video. So until next time, please like, subscribe, and share. And thank you guys so much for watching my channel, and have a good day.